Hey, everybody, this is Rob Smith from the Body Project, and I am continuing my 28 days talking about my pyramid of optimal physical performance. And tonight I'm going to mix it up a little bit. I was on one of our clients. I saw one of our clients post on her timeline, Kelly Albers. She gave us a great quote that obviously I put on our timeline. And it's just a great quote. And if you haven't read it, I'll just share with you what it is. Stress, depression, and anxiety are at all-time highs. So the people you surround yourself with matter more than ever before. I could not agree with that statement more. And in the past, I've always really made it a point to take care of my mind as much as possible, protect my own energy from negative things and negative people. So I'm always reading positive books, listening to positive audios, and as much as possible, I love to surround myself with positive people. And if I'm around negative people, I just try and remove myself, because if you think of our bodies just like a giant battery, there are certain things that are going to deplete our batteries, and then there's certain things that will help recharge our battery. And so when we're depleting our bodies, we're literally losing life force. We're accelerating the aging process. That's both psychologically and physically. So we have to really do things that will cultivate life force, chi, prana, energy, whatever you want to call it. In the end, it's really all about energy. And if you think about stress and how detrimental stress has really become a worldwide epidemic. And when we talk about stress, it's estimated that 90%, I was just reading an article the other day, and it said that 90% of doctor visits are because of stress. And it doesn't matter if that statistic is accurate or even if it's 80%, that is overwhelming. And when we think of stress, obviously everybody goes right to emotional stress, and emotional stress is big. But if we take a look at a stressor is really what affects your body in a stressful manner. And so if we look at I'm just going to add this here. If we look at some of these things that stress out our body, these are things, if you think of your body like a bucket, these are the things that would empty our buckets. They're going to accelerate aging and take away from our health. So we have mental and emotional stress, chemical stress, immune challenges, electromagnetic stress. So that's your microwave, your computer, thermal stress, being too hot, too cold, heavy metals, scars on your body or piercings on your body, physical or structural abnormalities, i.e. posture, and then your nutrition can stress out your body. So all of these elements are the stressors that stress out your body. And tomorrow I'm going to really dig into all these stressors. And then these are the things that fill our physiological bucket. And tomorrow I'll dig into these as well. But these are the things that improve our health. They slow the aging process. They cultivate that life force, that chi, that prana, that energy that we all need to really maintain a very vibrant mind and body. So tomorrow I'm going to get very in depth in those. Tonight, it's really all about kind of digging into the to the emotional baggage that we all have to deal with on a regular basis. And, I think that as kids, it starts out as kids, and you think about it, as adults, we're just big kids anyway. We're all just trying to figure it out, as we get older, we develop that wisdom, but inside all of us, there's still some insecurity. For me, I've always felt like I wasn't enough. And so I've always tried to challenge myself mentally and physically to live up to who knows what I'm trying to live up to. But I always set very high expectations. And I was always comparing myself to the best of the best instead of just being me. And I think that's what happens with a lot of us is we try and be someone we're not, or we try and emulate someone instead of just being the best version of us. And I think another thing too is just not feeling like we fit in. You know, everybody wants to feel like they fit in. Everyone wants to feel like they have a place in this world. And I think that's important to find our place and surround ourselves with like-minded, positive people, if that's what you want to be. But another thing too is just feeling judged, whether that's our weight, our fitness level, our education, our social status, whatever it is. It really begins when we're young. And I was listening to an unbelievable scientist give a presentation the other day, and the person who was interviewing asked him, why do you think so many kids don't pursue science? Some really, really gifted kids. And he said, junior high. And so the guy who was interviewing him, well, what do you mean by junior high? He said, it's at about that time when we start looking at ourselves and realizing that, we are looking at life as a thing of judgment, where people are now going to judge us for how we look, how we feel, how we act. We're always being judged. And he said that really stifles kids wanting to pursue science. But I got to thinking, and it really stifles us all from sometimes putting ourselves out there to try and be the best versions of ourselves because we're afraid of being judged. And so I think we really have to make sure we take a good look in the mirror and tell ourselves we are good enough. We do fit in. We have our place in the world, and quit worrying about people judging us. For me, physical things have always come somewhat easy for me. If you take a look at learning styles, auditory, visual, kinesthetic, my gifts have always been more on the kinesthetic side. So sports always came relatively easy for me. And I found myself 25 years ago in New Zealand. I had never skied before, never snow skied before, and went out with some friends. And these guys were all either accomplished snowboarders or skiers. And we're traveling up to the lodge, and I was going to go get my gear. And they're looking at the mountain, pointing at the mountain, saying, "You see that mountain? That's the mountain you're going to be falling down all day." And then I started to play these, kind of went through this mental rehearsal of, oh my gosh, I'm going to look like a fool. I'm going to be falling and crashing, and this is not going to be good. And all of a sudden I started to play these scenarios, and I started to feel myself getting more and more negative. And I mean, this is coming from someone who is physically active, and stuff usually comes pretty to me physically. And I was feeling like that. So with someone who's deconditioned, not very athletic, how do they feel in the gym around all these fit people? But these stories that we have in our head about being judged, comparing ourselves with others, that what happened with the event, then I got all my stuff on, I'm geared up, I have my skis on, I'm going to the lesson, and it was ridiculous. I felt so awkward on these damn skis, and somehow made it down to my instructor. There's a group of people, and I was just like, this feels horrible. And I had a great instructor. This instructor was amazing. And he was super positive, super upbeat. And, gave us all some basic instruction, and, then it started to, come to me, and all of a sudden I'm skiing, and the guy's like, "Oh, you're such a natural." And he's just building me up. And A, he was a great instructor, but B, I think what was really awesome, he took the time to make sure